as the saying goes, if you're going to shoot at the king, you'd better not miss. And it seems that Israel's now ex-defense minister missed when he gave a press conference on Saturday evening and became the first minister to call for a halt to this government's judicial overhaul.
It took a while. The ceasefire was meant to come into effect at 10 p.m. local time last night, but Islamic Jihad militants continued to fire rockets towards Israel for just over another hour, and Israel was continuing to carry out airstrikes until about midnight local time. But for the past 9 hours or so, this ceasefire has been holding. Many of them line this street here, colloquially known as the Champs-Élysées, not because it's posh, but because there used to be a French hospital at the beginning of the street. Israel and the United States will reiterate their commitment to doing whatever it takes, effectively, to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons, and in the words of a US administration official, to also address Iran's destabilizing efforts and the threats from Iran and its proxies against Israel. Erica?
Elliott, appreciate it. Thank you.
It's hugely significant. For President Donald Trump, of course, it gives him a real foreign policy achievement with which to go into November's elections. For Israel, this is just the third country, the third Middle Eastern Arab country that Israel is due to normalize relations with after Egypt and Jordan. And I think also for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, not only does this kind of take some of the pressure off that he's been facing of late regarding the corruption trial he's facing and his government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic, but I think it also vindicates him in a way. In his words, he's achieving peace for peace.
When Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu returned from his weekend in London, he sat gallant, and the result of that is what you see behind me, thousands and thousands of people on the streets of central Tel Aviv.
They're very keen to see kids go back because Israelis on average have more children than any other developed country, and both parents tend to work, so more than 3 children on average per couple. Both parents tend to work, so if the schools don't reopen, then you can't really have the economy open either, because the parents simply wouldn't be able to go back to work. I think it's quite unlikely, Becky, to be honest. Certainly if history is any guide, in 2017 there was a devastating earthquake in the southeast of Iran near the border with Iraq. Israel offered aid and that was quickly rebuffed. Water down the powers of the Supreme Court and also to strike out crimes such as breach of trust, which just so happen to be among the indictments that are facing Netanyahu in his ongoing corruption trials. And as you can see, they've just finished speaking here, but the bottom line is that Netanyahu is now going to start negotiations formally with his right-wing partners, who are expected to form the most right-wing government in Israel's history.
And then, much to everyone's surprise, they then, about half an hour, 45 minutes later, said, OK, we're boarding. We boarded as per normal. We sat on the tarmac for about half an hour, and now we're moving. And the captain very much seems to be thinking that we are going to be taking off.
I'm not sure if I feel completely relaxed driving this, not driving, but being in this self-driving car, but I think I know something that might help. Don't do this at home. There we go. This is the life.